today's plan for today, obviously, is I haven't streamed for a while, at least this game, right? And the plan is to, one, we're going to first talk about some characters I would like added into Marvel Rivals, right? These characters, I have no idea. I've been avoiding leaks and avoiding data mines and all that. I've been blocking accounts that have been talking about it. So if any other characters that I mentioned are on that list, please don't say nothing. I know a handful of characters have already been announced along with some skins, and I would prefer to not know anything about it, because I think the hype behind new games releasing content kind of dies out when things get data mined too far. You feel me? So we're gonna see. Don't worry, Double. The ones that we spoke about, I don't have any of them on the list except for maybe one who I know definitely isn't a part of that. So you already know one of the characters I'm talking about, right? One of the characters I'm talking about is already been shown. People already know, but I'm not gonna talk about the other three because they're not out yet. So I'm gonna talk about the one that isn't a part of that list. Okay? We're gonna go through. So my process is we're going to talk about the character and see if we're familiar with the character. And with that, I want to talk about what role I want them to play in. Now, I'm going to go by category, so I'm going to go Vanguard. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Duelist for DPS, Vanguard for tank, and Strategist for support, right? I'm going to go in that order. I think I have more than two for all of them, but I definitely have a lot more tanks than I do DPS, because right now we have too many DPS. No, we haven't spoken about? Oh shit. Okay, cool. Now, I'm gonna start flat out, right? We're gonna go straight into it flat out. And I think a lot of people do want this character, right? This character, I'm looking forward to him eventually coming. You feel me? So this character that I'm talking about right now is the beloved Gambito. You feel me? I feel like Gambit as a DPS will go crazy. You feel me? He would be... I can imagine him being straight up a frontline DPS similar to Psylocke. You feel me? Nothing too crazy, but he's definitely going to be in there. I have no idea what his ult would be. No idea what his ult would be. But I do think it would be cool if he had two types of fire, right? The one where the cards blow up on contacts, and the second one would be like a delayed and yet stronger card, you feel me? But it could be an alternate fire, but it could also be like a special move, you feel me? I'm not sure how I wanted that to go for him quite yet, but I know I definitely want Gambit in the game. Gambit has been, outside of, Channing Tatum, boy, I'm gonna make a name for myself here. If they do end up putting that voice line in the game, I'm gonna be screaming, but, that's when we get Deadpool in the game as well, which, who knows when Deadpool's coming. So I'm trying to pick characters that definitely aren't in that list of characters that people definitely want, you feel me? Outside of Gambit. I think Gambit's a major pick, you feel me? Gambit is one of my top picks. Like I said, I'm going in DPS, tank. So as you can see at the top, I have it's kind of already color-coded. So the purple is DPS, the red is tank, and the orange is supports. I think my support picks are gonna be kind of interesting, especially since I'm trying to go the whole support doesn't mean healer route. You feel me? So when we get there, we'll get it. We'll get there. Now this next character is Laura Kinley, X23. Now I am torn for her because I'm torn for her for two reasons. One, she could easily be a skin for Wolverine, and that would be an amazing skin. It'd be a waste of a character, but it would be an amazing skin, right? But on the flip side, their team up could be Berserker Charge, where both of them end up fueling each other and they start moving faster and attacking harder because they're both going at the same time. So tanks would get melted, everybody would die. It'd be a crazy team up. You feel me? Hulk could literally speedball both of them if they're both on the team. You feel me? That's where my mind is, and that's why I want her as a character. But again, she could easily be a skin. It would be a waste of a character, but it would be an amazing skin. You feel me? There's nothing else for me to really add for Laura, because she's X-23. You feel me? She's Wolverine, but you know she's not Wolverine. You feel me? She's X-23. She's different. I don't know who else I'd want in there. Well, hopefully the characters that I mentioned would interest you. Hopefully, you feel me? There's no way my browser crashed. Okay, never mind, it didn't crash. Okay, so the next character, my favorite, my honey bunch of oats over here, Jubilee. I know that I said I wanted her to be a support. I don't know anymore. I don't know if I want her to be a support anymore, because I would love her to be a DPS. She would go crazy as a DPS. I also hope you had a great Christmas, Tireless. I hope you're doing well, my guy. I hope you're hydrated. Welcome in, welcome in. We're currently talking about characters that we would like to see added into Marvel Rivals, excuse me. I called her Jamboree in front of my friend one time, and he didn't let me get away with that. Yeah, I wouldn't let you get away with it either. Going all the X-Men, I'm big. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. I think the last character for DPS might not be an X-Men, but I couldn't tell you. I don't remember. I don't remember this last pick. So when I see this picture, no, excuse me. The last character, I remember now. The last character is not an X-Men. It's not an X-Men. But also, yes, we need more X-Men. We need more X-Men. I don't know why I corrected to a cheer emoji. Hey, bro. C'est la vie, bro. You got the point across. C'est la vie. So Jubilee, not only would she be an amazing New Year's Eve character, you feel me, for the fireworks, I feel like she could have some type of like blinding passive or something like that. I don't know. I don't know, but I just want Jubilee so bad. I love Jubilee. She's so cool. And more Asian representation into the game. We definitely need that. We definitely need that. Although Psylocke is really good. Psylocke is really good, and so is Penny. Right? And so is Iron Fist. But I really want Jubilee. I want more. More Asian representation, please. Alright, the last character, I don't know if you guys even know, because I recently found out about his ass, and it's partially a joke pick. It's partially a joke, because this character being added as a DPS into the game would be goddamn hilarious. And the character I'm speaking on is this goddamn monkey. This goddamn monkey. This hit monkey. What is it? Hitman monkey? Something like that? This goddamn character as a DPS would go crazy, bro. Hit monkey would be stupid. If you over here in the middle of a match, you know, you feel me? This guy sitting on the point, you feel me? Would go crazy, bro. I don't know what team ups he would have. I don't know if he even has any team ups, bro. But he, as a DPS alone, would go crazy. Ali, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. That's literally you. Hey, that's what I'm saying. That's why we need you in the game, Ali. We need you in the game. I want Hitmonkey in the game because I feel like outside of Deadpool being the obvious joke character, I think it would be funny to have a monkey in this game with guns and a sword. He would be more of a flanking type DPS, you feel me? But it'll work. It'll work, you feel me? He would 100% do his job as best as he can, you feel me? I think it'll go crazy. Let me close that out, because that was just an extra tab, I believe. Also, Ali, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're hydrated. I hope your Christmas was well, if you celebrate it. If not, I hope you had a good day yesterday. Now, that's all for the DPS. How are we feeling about my picks? So we got Hitmonkey, Jubilee, X-23, and Gambit as my preferred picks for DPS. What do you guys think? Are there any characters that you guys would want added as a DPS? Let me know. This is also going to go on YouTube, so you guys on YouTube, who I am multi-streaming on, if you guys have any ideas as to who you'd want added as a DPS into the game, let me know. Now we're going to go into tanks. My tank list, I feel, might be meta? Question mark? Might be. It might be a little bit too, like, obvious, but we're gonna see. Let's go through it, okay? The first pick, excuse me, she doesn't belong here. You don't belong there. I want you as a DPS, She-Hulk. You're a DPS. You are not a tank. I do not want you to be a tank. We already have Hulk. We do not need you to be a tank, She-Hulk. I want you to be a DPS, 100%. I want you and Hulk to be on the same team without it throwing off the composition. Not that there's any concrete comps right now. She-Hulk, speedier Hulk, you feel me? She doesn't deform when she dies, though. She's strong as hell. She's super fast, and I want her to be a more aggressive version of the Hulk. I think that'd be very obvious. She-Hulk as a DPS, okay? Now we're going into the tanks. Now we're going into tanks. Now, first, Omega Red. We need Ant-Man, either DPS or tank. See, I thought about Ant-Man, Ali. I really did think about Ant-Man, but how do you counter a man that shrinks to the size of an ant, and then the guy that grows to the size of a 80-story building? How do you counter that? You feel me? And how would you implement that in a game where strategy kind of matters? Like, if he becomes the size of an ant, he won't be targetable. But if he becomes more than the size of a building, he's gonna block everything. So it's kind of like, how do you play that out? You feel me? I would love to see Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man in the movies. I would love to see him, but how would Paul Rudd act in Marvel Rivals? You feel me? So Omega Red is a villain who, pretty much how I see it and how I read his backstory, he would be, so envision with me, right? Close your eyes. You don't have to close your eyes, but you can imagine with me, right? Imagine somewhat Wolverine's kit, but a little bit further range because he has tendrils or tentacles that he can move around like Doc Ock, right? So he kind of attacks similar to Venom, but he has the Berserker charge. And his passive would be he's constantly losing life force, constantly losing HP, and he regains it while attacking others. So this would be the first Berserker, actual like Berserker character in the game that isn't Wolverine. Cable as a tank or a DPS. So I was gonna put Cable on this list, Dabo. I would 100% see Cable as, I would want Cable, right, to be a DPS. I would want him to be a DPS, but we already have Punisher. And Cable, a lot of Cable's kit is pretty much just guns as well. Outside of his, you know, telekinesis and all his mind abilities, if they put him with his abilities in this game. So DPS, but if they give him his abilities, I don't know. Omega Red, I feel, so a tank with the ability to become stronger as he fights longer would be a cool implementation to Marvel Rivals, I feel. Put Mr. Fantastic in the game. Mr. Fantastic would be cool, and it'd be crazy if they put him as a DPS, Arandi. That would be crazy if they put him as a DPS. I want to see him lift. I want to see him go, my team, and put them over a building. You feel me? I don't know. Omega Red being a Berserker tank, like I said, that gets stronger as he fights longer. So think of Wolverine cross Venom. And then we have Omega Red. You feel me? That's how I see Omega Red. So he gets stronger as he fights longer, and the longer he fights, this guy is meant to hold the point, is how I imagined his playstyle. You put him on the point, and so long as he's getting his hits in, and he's getting his picks, he's gonna keep on getting stronger. So he kind of has that passive like Magic does, where every time she hits something, she gets armor. I want him to have that too, but instead of armor, it would be HP. And I want it to be like to the point where like he's actually like healing himself. And he'd be able to be on the leaderboard for the most healing done because he's over here healing himself so much. I think that would be kind of cool. And time traveling, I wanted to implement that somehow. I don't know how they would do it, Double. No idea how they would do that, but that'd be cool as hell. Like the team up for Cable, I can see that the magic portal thing, but for Cable, that'd be kind of cool. Although it would be Cable and Deadpool doing it. So that's my thought for Omega Red. Definitely a more offensive tank. Would love that. This one is very obvious, I feel. I feel like everybody wants this man in there. It's kind of hard to not have this man in there, you know? Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, I don't know what his ultimate would be, but I can definitely see him having his motorcycle and riding around and whipping people. You feel me? I could definitely see him doing that. Now, I don't know how fast it would be. I don't know how his motorcycle would work in comparison to regular mobility. Because the last thing I would want is for a motorcycle to be the same speed as, whatchamacallit, as Star-Lord when he's flying, but permanent, you feel me? I wouldn't want that. But maybe it could be like a summon, where he summons it, and then it goes away. Who knows? They could do a 5-second time rewind for the opponents. It's all for a cable, right? Double? A 5-second time rewind. That could be interesting. That could be interesting. Cable is rewinding other characters. You see, I did want to put, Cassandra what's her name? Cassandra Cage? Whatever her name was. Magneto's, not Magneto. Professor Xavier's sister. I wanted to put her as a tank as well. As the most powerful kineticist out there, right? I wanted to put her as that, but I wouldn't know how to implement her kit mentally, if that makes any sense. Because all I saw her do in the Deadpool movie was kind of godlike. So it's kind of impossible for me to comprehend her playstyle in this game, only because, again, I don't know the character too well. But Ghost Rider, Penance Stare, him hitting people with that whip, him leaving fire, that passive damage because of the bite, could be kind of cool. Could be a more offensive DPS similar to Cap. I could completely, excuse me, a more offensive tank similar to Cap. But, you know, more mobility, more options, and etc., etc. But he has a lot more HP. Completely can see that. Now, let's go into this one, right? What do you guys think? Captain Marvel as a tank versus a DPS. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys disagree with that? Let me get some water real quick. Hold on. Did I leave it in the kitchen? God damn it. Hold on. I left my water. She's a tank for you? But why is that, Double? Why do you think she's a tank? Because I also agree she's a tank. I want to hear your thoughts. Like, a lot of the time, whenever she's shown herself in the movie, at least, because I'm not a big comic reader, even though I definitely should be, and I might get into the Magic comics, especially since she's just my name, actually, but not really. She's the Queen of Limbo. She's basically the Marvel Superman. She's bulletproof, laser eyes, etc. Agree. That's exactly how I feel. She's practically just a bullet sponge who, like, pretty much stands around and does whatever she needs to at the last second. That's how I see her, too. Honestly, I can see her being a tank. Like, very obviously a tank. But, like, she's flying all the time. So similar to, like, Storm and Magneto when he decides for his ult, you feel me? Green Goblin throwing pumpkin... Shit. Green Goblin throwing pumpkin bombs everywhere. See, the thing is, Rondi, I personally would rather not have Green Goblin in the game. Only because... Double, I'll get to you in a second, and I'm glad you said her name because I was gonna put her in there too. Hold on. I personally feel that Green Goblin would just be Junkrat / Squirrel Girl with hella mobility. And that is a problem. Personally, that is a problem. He would literally just be Pharah with faster DPS. And I don't like that. That sounds kind of meta-defining for me. Because his entire kit would be flying around, throwing bombs into areas, and because he throws cluster bombs, it's constantly doing team-based damage. Now, the only way you can balance that is by doing by reducing his HP or making his mobility not that fast, but that doesn't counteract what the character is supposed to do, you know? I don't know. Green Goblin is a little bit of a hard pick for me, only because of cluster bombs plus high mobility. It's like, how do you balance that? Screw meta. I want to fly around saying "Curse you, Spider-Man." Then play Iron Fist. Play Iron Fist and punch that man into the ground. There you go. You win. But no, I hear you. Yeah, the Green Goblin saying "Curse you, Spider-Man." Yeah, I completely get it. So, Dalbo, I was gonna put Mystique as a support because, again, support role for me doesn't mean that they have to heal. I would want her to be transforming into other characters similar to Loki, but that's pretty much her main ability, and she's able to infiltrate and pretend to be on their team, if that makes any sense. So she would turn into, let's say she would turn into Scarlet Witch, but then the team realizes that, like, there's two Scarlet Witches on their team. Not that Mystique would hurt her own team, but they would be confused as to who is who. Not that they can attack their own Scarlet Witch, you feel me? So it's just like, she's on their back line fighting, quote, with them, but then she's able to get her ult and everything. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the extent of Mystique's power, but how do you... See, I really wanted that idea in there, only because it's really interesting, but in high-level play, which is not obviously the only thing I'm trying to come up with here, because obviously all levels of play is important when it comes to characters, but at high-level play, how valuable is a person not being in the fight? You feel me? So, like, yes, the Mystique can transform into Hawkeye and get quick picks, but then we already have Loki who does that for his ult. You feel me? So if we have a character that does that only for that, what use does Loki have? You feel me? So, like, yes, Loki can also do it, but he's also a healer, while Mystique is primarily used for confusion. So she's still supporting the team, but she's not supporting the team in a way that's actually supportive defensively, you know? It's weird. I did like Mystique. I did want her, but I don't know. You know? That's the hard part with Mystique. I thought she would be very interesting. I also thought, who was another character I thought of would be kind of interesting? Because I know I have two characters that I definitely do want, that I also thought of at the same time as Mystique, and they're on there as under the support role. I just don't know off the top of my head who would be support. You feel me? The thing is obviously Attack 100%. He didn't have a choice. That man is gonna be punching the hell out of people. He's just Hulk, but rocks, right? He doesn't do anything too crazy. He's just a man that can get hit really hard and hit really hard, right? Like, it's, I don't know. I don't know too much about the thing, I guess, but it is what it is, right? Because the thing is the Rockman, right? From Fantastic Four, am I right? I don't know. If he is, he's just going to be a man that hits things really hard. Just going to be the Hulk. I don't know how they would do him differently from the Hulk, but we'll see. Now, the last character that I have for a tank. Rogue. And specifically, the entire kit for her being a tank was inspired by Marvel vs. Capcom, along with, obviously, just her regular mutant powers. I want her to be able to create cooldowns on her opponents while being a bullet sponge and using their abilities, if that makes any sense. So, for example, let's say Hela. She grabs a Hela with her ability, right? Rogue grabs Hela with her ability, and she's like, okay, well, I'm taking your E ability now. So that little orb that you throw, it's mine. Yours is on cooldown. She takes it and throws it back at them. She would be toxic. I'm saying the concept of Rogue stealing the opponent's abilities from them, not draining HP, because I think that'd be a little bit too much and a little bit too focused. So I want her kit to be playable at somewhat all times, if that makes any sense. Like, she won't be able to take abilities all the time, obviously, but you have to use it precisely. And while she has another person's ability, hers will obviously be on cooldown. That way she can, at high level play, would be steal an ability, save it, use it when you need it, steal another one, and repeat that cycle. You feel me? She would be a melee fighter, so she would be Iron Fist Spider-Man, but stationary-ish. Because technically, in Marvel vs. Capcom and this era of Rouge, she's able to fly. I don't know if I want her to fly. I don't know if that should be something that she should permanently have, but I think it would be cool if she was stationary, like she had quick dashes, kind of like Iron Fist double jump, but just a dash for her. I think that would be kind of cool. But instead of just, like I said, her flying around, she'd be stationary on the point, taking abilities, putting theirs on cooldown, and forcing them to retreat slowly. I think that would be kind of cool. Hello, Katana. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. Happy belated Christmas if you celebrate. If not, I hope you had a great day yesterday. Another character that I wanted as a tank, but I did not know how to balance them mentally, was Taskmaster. I thought Taskmaster, let me get a picture of him up real quick. I thought Taskmaster as a whole would be godly as a character, but he feels super niche-ish. You feel me? He's so hard. He's so cool, and I love his concept. He's cool as hell. He was one of my sub picks in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Very, very good character. I love how he was able to do pretty much everything. But the problem is, right, he's the most complete character? He is. Honestly. Right? The only problem with Taskmaster as a character for me in Marvel Rivals, especially if he's going to be a tank, is how do you beat him? How do you kill him? He has the ability to copy the mobility of Spider-Man. He has Captain America's shield. He has Tonfa. He's able to glide like Moon Knight, right? He's able to do way too much. That's but I didn't want him to be a tank, but like, how do you balance a character like this without like changing cooldowns and like just making things overall weaker? Because the last thing I would want is for them to add more characters into the game that feel like current day Captain America. You feel me? Current day Captain America and Marvel Rivals, right? Not the movie, Marvel Rivals, obviously. The only thing that's oppressive about Cap is that he's able to run at you. That's it. He doesn't, we didn't ask, don't care. He doesn't have high damage. He doesn't have high combo potential. He doesn't really do too much. He's kind of like a big ass mosquito that just doesn't die. And that's what Captain America is, and I don't want that. I want characters to be prominent. I don't want characters to be added that just don't kind of do anything. I want them to feel like they actually have value. And although Captain America does have value at being a giant wall that bugs them, I feel like he could do more. And I feel like Taskmaster is the extreme version of that. I feel like Task Manager. Oh my god. Taskmaster is the more extreme version of that. Jinx, I'm not doing that shit, bro. I'm not doing that with you, bro. Not doing that. I'm not doing this shit with you, bro. Don't make him a tank. If all tanks have 600, 800 HP, he's cooking the whole game. I'm saying. Now, the thing is, if you do the opposite of that, Dalbo, if you make him a DPS, right? If you make him a DPS, right? Again, how do you kill him? Outside of him just having a low HP pool, right? That's what I didn't want. You feel me? Because if he does everything, it's a problem. Like, yeah, I would totally want a DPS running into the front lines with Captain America's shield. Get my shit back? No, right? How do we balance Taskmaster? Taskmaster, for real. You see me? You feel me? That's the reason why I didn't include Taskmaster in this. That's the only reason why I didn't include him. I would love Taskmaster. I keep calling him Task Manager. I would love Taskmaster in the game. I just don't know how they would balance him. Now, for supports, I'm going to go the somewhat obvious one that I've spoken about before. Same thing for all. I'm saying. This one, I feel, is... I've spoken about her before. I obviously want her to be a support, because as I've said before, supports don't mean that they have to heal. Moon Girl. First of all, if you guys haven't seen Moon Girl, it's a great show, very fun. I loved every second of it. Season 2 is out. It's a very good season. Very good show. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. She's great. I love her. Moon Girl, as a support, she's able to shoot her gun, as you see right there, to do some damage. But I would want her playstyle to be cooldown and buff focused. I want her to be able to give her teammates a buff that either reduces cooldowns slightly, or makes them move a little bit faster, or makes them do a little bit more DPS, or makes them do anything that kind of boosts their own kit, right? And then her ultimate will turn her into a tank that does a little bit of damage with the big guy right here, Devil Dinosaur. I think that would be kind of fire, not gonna lie. Taskmaster also has a grapple like Spider-Man with his web. There's no stopping him. Exactly, Double. Exactly. So Taskmaster would be really fast, really high damaging, and he'd be very versatile. Now, the opposite side of that, right? What comes with all of that is difficulty. You have to be able to manage all of those things in the middle of a firefight. That means the godlike Taskmasters will be unkillable. Fire Nation, what's good, my guy? How are you? How are you? Now, I think it would be cool to see Moon Girl as a very buff heavy support. Her implementation with the kit that I just mentioned would allow the meta for 3 healers to exist. Not that they can't exist now. They definitely could, but with the support that helps with cooldowns and buffs versus healing would be kind of cool to the overall meta of the game, because she's adding value to the team by supporting them in different ways that isn't just healing. How would Devil work with her? She would summon Devil. He would not be his own character, no. She would summon Devil to come in for her ult, to make room for her team to go onto the point, and she would have, I don't know, 1200 HP, 1500 HP because of Dinosaur, because of Devil, right? So, like, how I imagine her playstyle, it would be her in the back line, buffing, doing whatever, shooting the team when she can, etc., etc. She gets her ult at a major choke. She summons like Bob. Yes, like Bob, but she pilots it. Just like Bob, but she pilots it. So she's sitting on the top of Devil. That way it's similar to the team up of Groot and Rocket. That way she's still vulnerable. That way you can kill her if you manage to do it. You feel me? But like he's running rampage on the point, creating chaos for the team behind her to get in there to capture the point. That is how I imagined them together. Because I wouldn't want them to be separate, only because if Devil is on the point separate from her, she's able to still provide buffs and cooldown reductions to her team, which I think would be kind of too much. So I would rather her entire kit be changed to just Devil based when he's on the point. And he gets like spinning around, a roar, or whatever, rampaging. You feel me? I'd rather it be that. Big chillin', my boy eating some chorizo tamales with some shrimp jalapeno poppers. Good shit. Fire Nation, good shit. That sounds good as hell, bro. I don't think I've ever had chorizo tamales, but I would love to have some at some point. I think I've only had pork and beef tamales. Appreciate you for the hydrate, by the way. But yeah, that's how I see her. Moon Girl, I would love to see her. And also, if they could get the style, which I was going to talk about this as well. I would have loved if they added Hobie Brown from Spider-Verse as a Spider-Man skin. With the color effects, the mask being off, and all of that, his personality would be crazy. His personality and the graphics would be crazy. But I also want the same for Moon Girl. Her art style and everything that goes on within the show would be crazy within this world. I want to see what they do with her. I'm pretty sure she's going to be beautiful nonetheless, along with Devil being a giant monstrosity of a dinosaur, right? But it would be cool as hell to see them be added into Marvel Rivals. I would say Daredevil, but I feel like that would be copy and paste. Yeah, but the thing with copy and paste Daredevil is that although his kit would be pretty much the same as just like Spider-Man slash like Black Widow's melee batons, his passive could be that he could hear opponents through walls. He's able to see them. So that's interesting, but it wouldn't really be all that interesting of a character, you feel me, just for his passive. I wish we could get Miguel as his own character because of his claws and shit, but he's just Spider-Man. Exactly, Double. And that's the thing that we are running into here with Spider-Man. Because I personally would love Peter Parker, DPS, Miguel as tank, and Miles as a support. I would love that. I would love that. Although Miles obviously isn't a support Spider-Man, you know, Gwen probably is a better support than he is, but his invisibility would be kind of cool along with his electroshock therapy. I'm gonna call it electroshock therapy type kit could be utilized differently compared to other Spider-Men. So all three Spider-Men would be kind of cool in different roles, but it is what it is, you know. We already have Penny. As a tank, and she's great, but Miguel would have been, in my opinion, a melee-based Spider-Man as a tank would be clean as hell. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. He doesn't need the web swing like that. And look, we still have Venom too. He doesn't need the web swing that fast, but he needs to be aggressive. And that's how I see Miguel. But it's unfortunate that we can't. He's probably just gonna be a skin, 2077 Spider-Man. But it is what it is, right? 2077. It's 2099. Why do I keep on getting Cyberpunk mixed with Spider-Man 2099? Why do I keep doing that? I feel like that would be a passive for Miles. Like when he loses a certain amount of health, he turns invisible. That could work. Speaking of electricity, Electro as a DPS? Yes. Electro as a DPS. Yes, 100%. Electro as a DPS, Scorpion would be a tank, Rhino would be a tank. There's a lot of Spider-Man villains that would be more tank slash DPS focused. And this is the hard part for me. Coming up with characters for this list kind of was difficult, only because I wanted to come up with more supports, and I felt like there weren't any. There weren't a lot of like characters that were very support-like, at least to my knowledge, right? That would be interesting. And obviously, this is with my definition of what I would consider a support. Like, Moon Girl's kit is definitely a support character, but she's not healing. So I would try to come up with other characters that would be along the lines of that. But speaking of, the next support that I have in mind is Sue Storm. Sue Storm. Now, before I talk about Sue Storm, I wanted Professor Xavier's sister to be a tank, but with the same kit that I have in mind for Susan Storm. Now, she as a support would be able to throw barriers out similar to Cloak and Dagger, but she also has a shield that she's able to put up. And as everybody already knows, Sue Storm is a crazy good defender with her shield. She would just be the sub tank with obvious squishy HP. You feel me? She's able to give out mini shields. She's able to throw those out. She's able to poke the team. But along with that, she's able to turn herself invisible. Right? She was able to turn herself invisible, go into the back line, and still do her same job as a support shield giver, but from the back line with flanking ability. Now, does that make her a DPS? I don't know. Because the only support that she's doing is that she's giving shields. I don't necessarily know if it would be support playstyle or a DPS playstyle. But nonetheless, I do think Sue Storm would be a crazy good character added into this game. And I would love to see them do Fantastic Four as a whole, right? I don't know. What do you guys think about Sue Storm? You guys, if you guys know more about her, let me know. I would love to learn a little bit more because my knowledge on her is what I've seen from Jessica Alba from the movie. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. That's my knowledge to an extent of Sue Storm. I've seen a little bit more, like in the comics, but I haven't read too many comics to actually say I have a good depth and grab of the entirety of the Fantastic Four, like what they're all able to do. What, X-Men? Gambit? X-23? She's not an X-Man. Jubilee? Not Hitmonkey. So those three. And then I have Rogue as a tank. So here. Gambit, DPS. X-23, DPS. Jubilee, DPS. Rogue, tank. Are we considering Ghost Rider to be a part of X-Men? Because he does end up joining the X-Men at some point, doesn't he? So we'll just leave him unaffiliated for now. But yes, Hitmonkey would be a DPS as well. Hitmonkey, She-Hulk, Jubilee, X-23, and Gambit, all DPSs. Those are my wants for DPS. For tank, Omega Red, Ghost Rider, Rogue, Taskmaster if possible, but let me remove him. Captain Marvel. And then for supports, Moon Girl, Sue Storm, and last but not least, the final and yet I feel like somewhat controversial pick. I'm surprised Blade isn't in there. That's because everybody wants Blade, I feel. If nobody wants Blade, that's weird to me. I feel like Blade is a very obvious pick for the game, and I wanted to kind of differ a little, just very slightly. You feel me? Very slightly. I wanted to go characters that weren't very obviously being able to be put into the game, like Deadpool. I don't want to say Deadpool, because obviously Deadpool, they got fucking the costume in the game. Why wouldn't they put Deadpool in the game? Gambit would be he would be sick, wouldn't he? The thing is that I don't know what his ult would be. Like, I don't know how fast he is at throwing the cards, because theoretically, right, you could make his ult where he's doing the royal flush that he does with Marvel vs. Capcom, where he throws all those cards. If he jumps into the air and he spins like a goddamn disco ball, and he's throwing cards everywhere, doing constant damage, that could be an ult. But I don't know if he's ever done that. Similar, it's just Spider-Man, but cards, and I don't know if he's ever done that. So I don't know what his ult would be, but it would be cool as hell. Exactly, Spider-Man's ult. I don't know if he's ever done that, but it would be cool. I don't know what his ult would be. And also, like, his other ult from Marvel vs. Capcom, where he's throwing, like, power waves, because they're hypercharged cards, is like, how do you balance that? So he could just tunnel vision unlimited cards, but that's just Punisher. So it's like, what's going on here? What do you do with Gambit's ult? I have no idea what to do for Gambit's ult at all. At all. I have no idea. But let me run through again for the people that are just coming in. Gambit as a DPS. X-23 as a DPS. Separate DPS from Wolverine. That way they can have a team up called Berserker Charge, where both of them are constantly hunting and gaining power and going faster. And they're weak, so it'd be fine. They're easy to kill. She-Hulk as a DPS, obviously, because she's faster. And she's just Hulk, but fast. And her ult could be that she throws a car. I don't know. We'll figure out her ult later, but I want her. Jubilee, fantastic. Fireworks. It'll probably lag the game, because, to be honest, how many of you guys are actually still lagging from Doctor Strange's portal? I feel like all the fireworks that Jubilee is going to do and add to the screen is going to just make that worse. I want her, but it's going to make it worse. Woo! I'm about to make myself I'm about to make a name for myself here. It could be that, exactly. It could be that. And Hitmonkey as well as another DPS, because Hitmonkey is just a monkey, and this is a joke pick, but I would want him into the game because he's a goddamn monkey, and I want to see Monkey do crazy things with guns. Now, tanks, Omega Red, Venom. So for those who don't know, Venom meets Wolverine with the Berserker, but he gets stronger as he constantly fights. This is my idea. I don't know if this is feasible for them. I'm sure it possibly is, but this is my idea as to how Omega Red would work. Ghost Rider, more offensive DPS, similar to Captain America. Rides it on his bike, adds fire pulls on the ground. His ultimate would be the Penance Stare. If does it insta-kill? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it does hella damage. But that's single target, and I don't even know if that's valuable as at this moment. Rogue. I'll explain it again. For Rogue, Rogue's kit in my head is she takes the ability from the opponent. Like, so again, the example that I gave was she's fighting a Hela. She takes Hela's alternate fire that allows her to throw the blades, but for Hela's side, hers is on cooldown now because it was taken from her. So Rogue is a character, pretty much, she's a tank, but she's an offensive tank that's able to force cooldowns on the team in order to make them retreat. So she could do it on a, for example, she could do it on a magic and take away her teleport and summon a demon, or her spin, maybe, or she could do it on a Cap and take his shield bash or his shield slam. You know, she could take any of the abilities that obviously are possible for her to do, and she would force the cooldown on the opponents that'll make them retreat because they don't have the cooldowns that they need. Just the concept. Obviously, they could be reworked. It could be too strong or could not be. Who knows? But I did not want her to be a DPS, primarily because I think she would be more beneficial and would have way more playtime as a character, as a tank that forces cooldowns on the opponent. I think that would be a cool mechanic to see within Marvel Rivals. Captain America, like Davo and I agreed, she would also be a tank because she's pretty much just Superman, but she's not Superman. She's Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and she stands around. She's flying all the time, so she'd be Storm. She'd be Storm, but you know, a tank, and way slower. Moon Girl, she's a support that reduces cooldowns and gives slight buffs, be it movement speed or anything like that. And then her ultimate, she summons Devil Dinosaur to cause Rampage on the points. Sue Storm, she gives barriers. These are supports. Sue Storm gives barriers. She's able to protect. She's able to go invisible. Maybe coats the entire team invisibility for a couple of seconds to go reposition in different places. That would be kind of sick. But, you know, how do you balance that at some point? You feel me? The last but not least pick that I think is somewhat controversial because of how I imagined her kit, Phoenix. Jean Grey. Now, hear me out. I don't know about you guys. I still have scars from fighting her in Marvel's Capcom 3, right? Unfortunately, I'm gonna bring the resurrection idea back into this game. Jean Grey doesn't have an ultimate, okay? She can't actively use her ultimates. The way I imagine her is she has a very slow ult gain. She's a support. She's able to give, she heals, similar to Mantis, where she throws her Phoenix Fire onto her onto her teammates to heal them. She's able to use it to do damage as well, but she has really slow ult gain, and the reason is because when she does have ults and the next time she dies, she's able to be reborn as Dark Phoenix, and she becomes a DPS that does hella crowd control damage, that slows and just pretty much does damage over time so long as they're within the radius of her attacks. Now, I do imagine her, this is again my imagination, I do imagine her having somewhat similar of Cloak and Dagger like entrance for their ults, where she flies forward in a certain pattern maybe 3 times, and then she does a giant burst, a giant explosion, and then that's the end of her ult. But she still is able to primary fire, and it does hella damage still. Now, the reason why I see this as balanced is because she doesn't have an ultimate. She doesn't. She's not able to physically ult anything. She's not able to do anything outside of that, and her ult can only be used when she dies. So if you guys never find her, right, she can never use her ult. If you guys never kill her, she cannot use her ult. If she is the only person on points and she's contesting by herself, you have to guess whether or not she has her ultimate ability to deem if she's worthy of killing. Because if she does have her ultimate, you could lose that entire push because of her alone. And I think that alone as a mind game would be crazy. I think that alone as a mind game would be crazy. A character that makes you second guess whether or not you should kill them goes completely against what you're supposed to do in these games. Can you imagine getting punished for killing someone that you just weren't supposed to kill at that moment? That would be crazy to me. I would love to see that. I would think the Phoenix as a character with DPS capability, hyper damage capability would be ridiculous. Now, again, the downfall would be like when she does, possibly, if you do enough damage while she's in her Dark Phoenix form, when she deforms out of it, she could die because you did enough damage to her, kind of like a boss, I guess, right? But I don't know. I'll leave that up to the devs as to how to balance that, but I think as a whole, Jean Grey / the Phoenix, or just the Phoenix, because I'm not going to say Jean Grey, because she's not just a regular... I don't want this character to be a telepath or anything like that. I want her to be Pyromancer. Do that fire shit. Do that. That's how I imagine this character. She's throwing flames everywhere. She's doing all this fire stuff. She's healing her teammates with Phoenix Fire, literally recovering their stamina. It makes sense to me. Hopefully it makes sense to you guys as well. What do you guys think of that concept, though, for her ultimate? Not being able to ult until she dies. Then when she dies, you press it. Boom. Phoenix ult. You're taking over the point. The point is literally yours. They literally would have to contest you from 8 miles away because they need to shoot you down. And if they try to get close, they end up dying anyway. I think that'd be kind of bomb. I think that would be kind of clean. Not gonna lie. Just the concept of a character that makes you second guess if you should kill them or not sounds really interesting to me. And the thing about her and Moon Girl for me is that... No, excuse me. About these two, Sue Storm and Moon Girl for me, is that they're not your traditional supports. They're not your traditional, oh my god, you're playing support, so you gotta heal. No, they're your alternate support. They're your more offensive supports. They're your more support supports. They're your, see, let's help the team by doing more damage or giving buffs type of support. They're not your basic stereotypical, oh my god, I'm a healer, let me go heal you. This is not that auto-aim, turn your brain off type character. This is, you think, you actually require thought when playing these characters. Will she stay Dark Phoenix? Or when she dies, she will go back to regular? She, so I imagined it being, she stays Dark Phoenix for a couple of seconds after the 3 dashes in. And then, she's able to do primary fires for a couple of seconds because she's supposed to be able to hold the point. So she would stay that for a couple of seconds, then deform. And if enough damage is done, she does not regain HP. She does not regain HP. Dark Phoenix is HP is separate from regular Phoenix. So whatever damage you did to Dark Phoenix will transfer over to regular Phoenix. So you could do 300 damage to Dark Phoenix, and when she goes back, if her HP is below 300, she would die. So it'd be like a somewhat sacrificial play at the same time of being a mind game for that type of character. And that would be c'est magnifique for me, because theoretically you could walk onto the point. So how I imagined it, right, is you could walk onto the point as this character, and then so long as people are aware of what character you are, they will hesitate to kill you. So they have to force nothing. They have to stand there and watch you contest. And that's the thing that made me like, yes, I want this. Because I would love to see a character that I'm not supposed to kill get killed, and then my whole team gets wiped because I killed them. Like, I would love to see Hawkeye on my team headshot this character, and then she comes back and the whole world is red and my team is dead, and where I'm in the spawn questioning what just happened, and then the whole team is yelling at Hawkeye for getting a headshot on this character. I would love to see that. But on the flip side of that, I would love to be this character walking onto point. I'm like, do I have my ult or do I not have my ult? You can't tell. Kill me and find out. And then if they don't kill me, I'm sitting there doing a little bit of damage, pew 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 pew. It's not enough damage to kill. It's good enough to aggravate. And then, oh, they didn't kill me. The point is still contested. My team is back. That is how I see her entire kit, and I think her kit is by far the most interesting. The most interesting because of her resurrection ability and her being able to change roles at the last second for her ults. I think that would be kind of bomb. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this roster? If there's anything that does stick out to you, please let me know. If there isn't, I would love to hear what you guys think. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much sold. I think I pretty much sold the ideas that I wanted to give, right? One more time for the one time. Gambit DPS, Laura Kinley DPS, She-Hulk DPS, Jubilee DPS, Hitmonkey DPS, Omega Red tank, Ghost Rider tank, Rogue tank, Captain Marvel tank, Moon Girl support, Sue Storm support, and last but not least again, regular / Dark Phoenix support. Now, thank you guys for sticking through my ideas. I hope you guys like them. For the people on YouTube, if you guys are watching this as a video, let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts and what characters you think would be interesting being added into this game, along with what roles you think they would play. If you think they should add Deadpool to be a tank, why not? Tankpool, why not, you know? And I'm not talking about a variant of Deadpool. I'm talking about Ryan Reynolds, the Deadpool. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. Pretty boy Ryan Reynolds, the one that had the golden guns in Deadpool versus Wolverine, he should be the tank. Why not? He doesn't have any healing factor. He doesn't do anything. He's just pretty and he has golden guns. Why not? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you for watching. I think it's time for me to get back. I think it's time for me to go into the game now.